getting a call from the clinic, Paul. Yeah, Lewis's clinic just called and needs to be picked up. So Paulus is going to go pick him up. Yeah, I'll text it to you, babe. It is 16501 Ventura Boulevard, number 103. Okay, let me remember that. What did I just say? 16501? 501 Ventura.
Here, I'm gonna mute you, Max. All right. One sec. Well, welcome to anyone who's here now. We got Stream Raiders going here. We're doing Tech Tuesday. I don't know if anyone's here, so I'm just gonna wait. Oh, whoops.
Okay, Paula just left to go pick up Lewis. Maybe we'll get a really high Lewis to jump on stream at some point.
Yeah, we'll see how Lewis feels about that. I mean,
I do remember the last
time.
Lewis
has very little shame.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said when people were like, "Oh, Max is gonna pick him up and like just live stream it," and it's just like, I mean, that might be a little invasive, but
I mean, Lou doesn't really give a shit, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, he shaved his head live on stream like 3 times.
yeah, he's
Yeah, Lou is a very confident dude in that way. He doesn't really give too much of a shit what other people think.
yeah, it's gonna be.
I remember one of his first concerts in I guess that was before he did the gyrating hips, I think. Well, no, that was like the first time he actually started doing the gyrating hips, and he had like a few of our friends from high school play with him, and he played at like El Corazon. And
I was there.
Yeah, that was like the first like big live show that he had done, and we were like, I don't know, 18 or something. So it's like, that's kind of intimidating. You're like a fucking teenager. We just graduated high school, and he's on this like relatively big platform. I mean, obviously, like, it wasn't a packed house. There's like maybe like 100 people there, but you're in like a real
fucking people.
You're in like a real music venue where a lot of big bands play, and he had like a full leopard print suit.
Yeah.
Like playing his leopard print suit, dancing around. I mean, like, he's a pretty introverted dude, but when he turns it on for performance, he really cuts it loose. So well, hey Sasha, how are you?
Let's see. Yeah. Lewis and I did like a show out here in Hollywood at the Second City like training center in Hollywood, like on Hollywood Boulevard, and we went like I think I dyed my hair silver, and Lewis like painted his face like blue and silver, and like was wearing like this silver blazer. Like I was wearing like some like also like sparkly whatever, and it's just
reminds me of like the It's Always Sunny episode, like the chemical toilet.
We also played well, but honestly, like showing up like where you look like you're a band, like it's like half the fucking battle. Like you come on stage and people see you're like all decked out in like crazy shit, and they're like, let's see what these guys got to do. Plus, the set was fucking hilarious. It was like as part of like a variety comedy show, kind of like think like SNL basically, where it's like now the musical guest, in between sketches kind of a deal. Mm-hmm. And the way we did it was so fucking baller. It was a 3-piece band, Lewis on guitar and vocals, me on bass and vocals, and then Skylar on electric drum kit. And we literally like the set ended, the comedy piece ended, and like they're like, and now like a musical act like the gyrating hips, and then we like walked out. I was carrying like my bass and the amp that had everything already plugged into it, like the mics and the bass, the guitar, and the drum kit, which was an electric drum kit. So we're all like very close together because everything's plugged into this thing I'm carrying. And Lewis is like carrying his Rickenbacker and his mic stand, and I think my mic stand. And then Skylar was carrying like the electric drum kit. And we literally like walked out carrying all this shit all in one go, put it down, and we're like 1, 2, 3, and just started fucking like rocking out. Did 2 songs, and then we're like, cool, thank you. Picked up our shit and like walked off, and the next like comedy set came on.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
quite the
people were like, damn, I've never fucking seen anybody like tear down and set up a fucking like we did 2 songs in like 8 minutes or something, with including setup and tear down.
Was that all they gave you? Was 2 minutes or 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because we were like the musical guest in a 1-hour comedy show, you know.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, he's got that down to a science. He's been doing that for a long time.
It was really fun too. Plus, we, you know, I mean, it's a 3-piece band, and Lewis and I are doing like vocal harmonies, and like I'm like doing harmony parts on the bass to his guitar. He's really good at guitar, so it's like it was actually really a solid like. It's a solid amount of music coming from 3 people who just brought all their shit and set it up like.
Wait, was Skylar playing drums?
Yeah, Skylar was on drums.
Oh, I didn't even know he could play drums.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good at drums too. He's yeah, it's fun. There's got to be video of that shit somewhere. I'll find it for like.
I swear there's a video on YouTube of that first Gyrating Hip show, like when we were teenagers. I think that's in the deep cuts of YouTube. I mean, that was probably 15 years ago. We're not young anymore.
Yeah. It's also fun like after the show, because it is a rush to like perform, even if it is just for 10 minutes. But then afterwards, you're like downtown Hollywood with like sparkly glitter makeup all over your fucking face and hair. And you go out to like the bar with all the comedy like group and like the audience, and everybody's there. And like even people who weren't in the show will see you on the street and be like, that guy was in a show just now. You know, I mean, the guy has glitter all over his body.
Yeah, stripper or musician or both.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to like, it's like, even if you don't have a show to do, like just dressing up like you do have a show to do and carrying a guitar down like Hollywood Boulevard, I don't know, feels like you made it.
That feels like LA. Yeah, that's like the quintessential LA experience. Like, I made it, Pop. I made it.
I'm walking to my gig. Yeah.
I'm getting paid $12.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a good little tangent there. I got Stream Raiders going. We're doing Tech Tuesday. You know, there's a lot of like, you know, typically the monthly close. So, you know, is this the last day of the month? Oh, tomorrow's the last day of the month.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
But that's a lot of good macro trend indicators as far as the monthly close. So I think Mac's going to look at like the S&P and the broader crypto markets. And then, you know, the typical stuff, go over the 100 wax investment. Maybe we can go over like, you know, some of these strategies in like deep wax coins. How susceptible are they to the macro trends? You know, like I get that like wax and Ethereum and Bitcoin follow the S&P, but like CMW, for example, or like, you know, the Landbox token, are those things kind of immune to some of the big pressures of the S&P because they're so specific?
Yeah, that's a fun thing. Yeah, we could look into that, because it like that would involve basically like, or that basically involves finding where those tokens trade and then charting that specific. So if CMW
where all the liquidity is.
Yeah, CMW is easy because it's all on DeFi box. Like yeah, so there you get that kind of stuff. And then CMW is doing what we were doing with Neon Token, where somebody created a CMW pool with like other assets too, like I think battle miners or something, just so that there's arbitrage between CMW pools. Like having added that USDC pool absolutely has increased the volume of trading between the Wax Neon pool. Yeah,
so if we don't have too much on the docket, obviously there's plenty of room for us to go off and do a tangent here, but if
something on my mind
people want to talk about, we're open to that. Yes. And then Max is going to talk about Ethereum merger as well.
Something on my mind has been the Ethereum merger, and now that we're almost in September and it's scheduled for I think the 16th of September, I wouldn't mind talking about what the implication of the merger are and what I expect to happen in the shitstorm to follow the the transition off of proof of work. It's definitely kind of a high concept thing, but
and it's a big change for what the status quo has been for a long time. Hold on, let me
Yes. Oh, I'm looking forward to the taffy. I checked the mail this morning. I was waiting. Got to get my taffy before it all melts. It's going to be 106 degrees tomorrow. It's getting fucking hot here. End of the summer heat wave. But yeah. Oh, did you guys see that the Wax team is doing like a PvP thing, by the way, guys? Let me see if I can find it. It's like I think it's called, yes, here, I'll share my screen. I found it. It's called VBots. Mark and I were talking about it a second ago, and
oh yeah, so I don't know, personally, like I find it's an interesting move. I think it's kind of cool to engage with the community, but personally, I didn't go for it. As like the mint structure is like through the roof, which they're not really trying to build value. They're just trying to give stuff back to people, right? Give something out to the community for people to have just for fun. The artwork was kind of underwhelming to me. I thought it was like kind of okay. So personally, I was just like, it's an interesting idea, not really my bag, but you know, it's the Wax. I guess the positive I can take out of it, even though the art kind of seems kind of half-baked to me, but that's my opinion. But it shows that the Wax core team's trying a little harder to, or is this from Atomic Up? I think this is Wax core team.
I think it's Wax, yeah.
Is trying to be a little bit more involved in the community, rather, because it seems like up to this point they've been kind of standoffish and only kind of engaged on the fringes. But with Funko, I think they're a little bit more connected to the day-to-day. So I do think that is a good sign that they're trying to be more involved and directly connected to users. So, you know.
Yeah, but it looks like the way that you can get this is simply by tweeting at their official tweet that they've dropped. I think we have it in our Discord. If I can find it in Discord and share it in the chat here. 1 second. But I don't know. Like you said, it's not like my favorite look or something that I'm like dying to get, but the fact that it's free and I can get it like just by participating that way, I'm certainly interested. I'm willing to tweet at them for a chance at a like free NFT. But yeah, let me pull up the link for that. That'll be,
yeah. So I think everyone that replied got one. So the mint cap, it's mint on demand, really. So, you know, I would not go after this thing if you think you're going to be able to flip it or something. I guess if you got some like super cool, crazy traits, but it's like a free lottery ticket, I suppose. But, you know, it's going to get multi-accounted since it's just, it's the Wax.
It's also, yeah, it's the Wax team. So, you know, they're going to not give a fuck about multi-accounting.
But that's not the point, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah. This is, I just shared in the chat, though. This is the tweet. If you respond to the tweet and follow the rules there, I think you can score one of those NFTs for yourself as well. Which is kind of cool. I don't know. I'm a fan. I always like free NFTs, and I'm also a fan of like profile picture projects. I definitely have quite a few across several blockchains, and I don't buy them to flip them. I buy them because I like them.
And it's kind of fun. Like, I mean, you know, we're engaged in these online communities all the time, right? Because of the nature of Neon Space. So if you are one of those people, it's like, it's kind of fun to have like different profile pictures you trade out, put a different one for like a month, mix it up with another one. I mean, not everything is an investment. I feel like sometimes the NFT community is like everything. It's like stocks. It's like they treat every NFT like it's going to give them return on investment, when it's not always that. A lot of NFTs are artists and they're just trying to share artwork. And that's all there is to it.
I've been trying to like help
Lambo. People. There's no mortgage payment you're going to get out of this. There's no down payment you're going to get out of this. It's just people trying to share their artwork with people who want to buy it. That's it. And that's totally.
I've been trying to explain NFTs to people in like places where they're not NFT people, like, and they don't know what NFTs are, and a lot of people are like confused by the concept of somebody paying $1,000 or more for like a picture that you can copy paste. And the way that I always have had the ability to like explain it in a way that people kind of understand is that what you're buying when you buy an NFT is it's a digital signature that makes it easy to identify the author of the thing that you're buying. You're not buying the thing. You're not buying the artwork. You're buying the artist's signature if it's artwork. If you're buying a game piece, you're buying not necessarily like rights to the game piece, or you're not allowed to like make your own game around your NFT game pieces or any of that stuff. You're buying the signature from the game developer that says that you can use those games in their products. So again, or like if it's a ticket, for example, it's a signature that you're buying from the band, or from the issuer of the tickets. The whole point of NFTs isn't the ownership of the image or of the asset that you're buying. It's the ownership of the signature, so that it's basically trivial to verify the origin of what you have.
Yeah, like I could print out on a piece of cardboard a King Griffey Jr. rookie card, and like that would be, I could look at it, it has all the same stats, but no one gives a fuck about it because I just printed it out.
Because
it
Topps
needs to be an official Topps release. Like I have a signed baseball from Alex Rodriguez when I was a kid, and it doesn't like any person could take a ballpoint pen and try and scribble on it. And it's not like people's, particularly celebrities or athletes, they're signing 1,000 things a day. So it's not even like you can legibly say, okay, that looks like it spells A-Rod. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. So if I were to ever resell it, my baseball with a certificate of authenticity versus another baseball that's just has pen on it, mine's probably going to sell for more in that way
because the proof of where it comes from is what makes it valuable, and that's what the NFT itself is. It's literally just a signature that it makes it verifiable that where the origin of this digital item is. Not necessarily like, oh, it's a monkey picture, now I own the rights to, like, nobody else is allowed to copy paste this or something. Like, while I know that Bored Ape Yacht Club does say things like, oh, you own like the commercial rights to your ape, it's also up to you to enforce those commercial rights, like somebody copies your shit, like, okay, Bored Ape Yacht Club isn't gonna fucking like sue them for you or like flag that stuff. I mean, you still have the right, but enforcing a right and having a right are two different things, so the real thing that you own isn't the right to like reproduce artwork or whatever. It's the signature from an artist, and that's the thing that cannot be copy pasted. Because people are all like, oh, you could just copy paste NFT stuff. It's like, yeah, you can copy paste the image. You can't copy paste the signature. So it's like, this painting is signed by the artist on the back. Like I could make a painting like this too, but it wouldn't be the same because I won't be able to like create the artist's signature, even if I could recreate his artwork.
Yeah, and like, if you want to be a dick and copy people's shit, like, sure, that's who you definitely
can.
But and you can, and it's easy, good for you. But if you want to like if you're buying a piece of artwork, regardless if it's physical or if it's digital, most people want to do it because they, one, like the artwork, and two, want to support the artist. So if you're buying digital artwork, if a artist is putting their stuff on the blockchain and doing it as an NFT, you can verify that you are supporting them directly, not a third party, not another person. And that's valuable to me, and it's valuable to a lot of other people. So if I want to copy paste and just take it without giving money back, I could do that, but I choose not to. Just like I choose not to shoplift. I mean, that's kind of apples and oranges, but you see my point.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. Like that understanding, I think, is missing in a lot of those like people who like just immediately hate on NFTs. And it's funny that whenever I do kind of like try to bridge that like understanding for people and try to like explain what an NFT is, like that the NFT is the digital signature rather than like the artwork and stuff, people always assume that I'm justifying spending $100,000 on a monkey picture. Like, because almost always the follow-up comments are like, it's still stupid to spend $100,000 on a Bored Ape. It's like,
and you've never spent $100,000 on any NFT.
I don't think it's not stupid. Like,
just because other people did,
I'm just telling you what you're buying. Yeah, I'm just telling you what they're spending the money on. They're not buying those fucking ape pictures. They're buying the signature from the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, and it's such a small subset because of the thousands upon thousands of NFT collectors or people that have an NFT or engage with it. 99% of them have never spent more than like $100 on NFTs. I would imagine, like at least in one single transaction. I don't know. I just find that the vast majority of people just collect them along the way, have fun with it, not everyone's mortgaging their home or like selling their home to then buy a monkey. Like that is such a small fraction of the whole thing, but you're painting it all with the same brush, which I find funny.
Did you see the Eminem and Snoop Dogg live rendered video where they are rapping, I think at the VMAs maybe, and they rap as their Bored Apes?
Oh, that's kind of cool. I know Snoop Dogg does a lot of like marketing stuff with his. I mean, I think the point being is that there are ways to exploit NFTs. There are ways that people take advantage of it. There are ways that people scam other people. The key argument here with people that are arguing in bad faith, in my opinion, is that they somehow think it's the only thing in our society that is exploited or manipulated or scammy. I mean, life insurance, there's a bunch of life insurance scams. Doesn't mean life insurance is inherently a scam concept.
There's a lot of credit card scams.
There's a lot of credit card
an asshole for owning a credit card.
So like I don't understand how like the only scams and manipulative and bad faith things that exist are only NFTs, but people try to make that argument in bad faith, in my opinion. And some, just because there are bad sectors and because it's a new thing and it's the same thing in crypto, I don't deny that there is a lot of hacking and shady business and money laundering. Those things exist, and I don't like that those exist, but I like the concept. So if someone were to say, hey, we want to stop people money laundering, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Please
I agree with that. Yes.
Please stop letting people do illegal things with cryptocurrency. I don't think there's that many people that are like, hey, what the hell, man? Don't catch like large scale money laundering. You're ruining crypto for me. And yet somehow the outside the outside person who doesn't engage these things but likes to argue about it, in my experience, always tries to say, well, it's just a bunch of drug dealers and shit, and no one wants to change crypto because they want to keep doing illegal shit. And and all the people I've talked to about crypto and NFTs, none of them say that. So it's always kind of straw man arguments, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also interesting to me when people, like, when I do describe NFTs as like the digital signature, and then they're like, why would anyone buy that if it's not the art? And was like, I don't know. Have you ever seen people buy high quality prints of an artwork from the artist that the artist then signs and numbers? That's literally the same concept. Like, it's a print. Anybody can print out a print. I could go to Kinko's and make a print, but the difference is your print was bought from the artist, signed by the artist, and numbered by them. Like, I don't know how. It's not that difficult of a leap between that and what an artwork NFT is.
It's kind of funny too, because like I have a bunch of friends that play Magic the Gathering Arena, and you buy packs on that app all the time.
Yeah,
and they're digital cards. So like, what's the difference between buying Magic the Gathering Arena cards and buying like Warsaken cards? I mean,
the difference is you can resell your Warsaken cards eventually.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
it might not make you rich, but hey, you might be able to resell them.
I tend not to engage, honestly, because most people just want to prove you wrong. They don't really want to like understand it. They just want to argue. So most of the time, I just don't even bring it up. Just don't even bother.
Eric's doing the Lord's work, getting people into wax. That's funny. Oh yeah, getting them started in Farmers World.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, carbon neutral blockchains?
Have you heard the good news?
I don't know. If someone came to my door and tried to sell me on blockchain, I would close the door just like I would for any Jehovah's Witness. Just don't bother me if I don't.
Yeah. Exactly. But at the end of the day, it is really like interesting that like people have this concept that they've like instilled into their imagination as like, oh, it's only people laundering money through like JPEGs of monkeys. And then when you're like, well, I mean, it could be a video game item, and they're like, I would never want to play those video games because I'm not trying to play $100,000. And it's like, okay, well, you could buy like a 5-cent NFT too, like, or like, I don't know. There's so many like utility cases for the concept of what an NFT is, because all it is a digital token that can represent anything digitally. It could be artwork, it could be gaming pieces, it could be like, what is it called? Like the governing like entity to a liquidity position. You know, it could be something much more complicated. It could be a living trust. you know, all of those things you could turn into an NFT. And it could also literally, it could be like a picture of a piece of turd that I immediately like stop supporting on the ISPF, and eventually the picture just goes away. So it could literally just be my signature with a broken link to a non-existent photo.
Yeah.
So it can be anything between that massive range and a bunch more too. Like there's so much like to it, like tickets, for example, for like event tickets.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Toon, you make a really good point. You know what Wax was created off of? It was created off of a platform to trade CS:GO skins. So the skin market in Counter-Strike was built by this guy, and he had built. I'm trying to understand if he like built it on chain specifically, or if he had just done a marketplace that used similar concepts. But anyway, William Quigley, the now founder of Wags, had bought this company from this dude who created this platform to sell CS:GO skins, and that has now become Wags. That is the history. So
it literally
so
is rooted in that.
Yeah,
it's crazy how the gamer community is so against it, which is like, I kind of understand, because the gamer community is dramatically exploited through like microtransactions. Like almost every game that I've played in recent memory has some form of additional costs to playing it. Like if I wanted, like even if it literally came out today, there's been games that I'm like, oh, this came out today, and there's already downloadable content that I could pay for, which is like, how is that a thing? It's launch day. Like, why the fuck did I pay launch price for a game that didn't come with everything? Like, that's insane to me. And so I understand why gamers are really like, you know, not open to kind of the concept of a new medium for like you know, asset markets, because they're used to getting ripped the fuck off. And I kind of get it, where it's like, oh, we can introduce this new element to the game that you like that involves, you know, microtransactions and ownership. And it's just like, no, fuck you. Like, I know where this goes. Like, I don't want to fucking end up paying for games that I already bought. And like, I kind of do get the like idea, but it's also like really just ignoring the facts of what is happening in the space, and what an NFT really is. And it's just like this misinformation that people like have about what they think it is, and then they're not going to like look into it further. And if you try to like give a counterpoint, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not trying to hear that, so like, let's just.
And it's a I find it a waste of my time too. It's like, look, man, I'm not here like trying to sell you on our Lord and Savior here. You're the one asking me about crypto and blockchain and stuff. So you're engaging me in conversation, and then you basically waste my time by just trying to use me as a sounding board for your yelling. Like, that's the part that annoys me, because it's like, look, there are pushy people out there. There are people that like, no matter you get 5 words in, they immediately start talking about crypto, and I don't like that either. So like, quit trying to make me like every other person you've met. It's just offensive to me. So
like when I go out to the bar and hang out with friends and stuff, crypto and NFTs don't come up, because the people I hang out with aren't in this space.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't talk about sports with Max all the time, because Max doesn't like sports. I can talk about sports all day, every day. I'm a huge sports fan, but I just, you know, I'm a more complex person that I can talk about different things with different people.
Yeah. It just doesn't come up when people don't care about it. And that's such a weird thing, that like, there's such a community of people who seem like they do care about it because they want to talk about it constantly, but they don't actually want to know or like understand anything. They want to be affirmed that what they already understand is correct. And what they already understand is NFTs are bad.
Real quick, exclamation point play if you'd like to join this giveaway. Lou is at an appointment. I think he's on his way back, but anyway, I don't have the marble season. The season does continue. So when did we start? Was it July, August? Yeah,
Luce just texted me. He says, I'm a little loopy, but I'll be able to hop on stream.
Oh man. All right. Well, you're gonna get a looped up Lou here coming soon. But, so exclamation point play, we'll be giving away.
Oh hell yeah, I bought some of those yesterday too. I was trying to go for a neon sword.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if Lou wants to save these for tomorrow when they're actually doing the thing.
You will need one asset from the collection to participate in joining, so it might not be a bad idea to give 1 or 2 away now so that people will have them and be able to
So this first one will give away this tourist station Club Chaos thing. So I think this is just like a cosmetic.
It opens for 2 cosmetics. So I opened mine and I got a sunglasses and a glow stick. So
and the context is like they're doing like a kind of party thing in Tourist Station, the game, which is kind of like a social, like a pixel art style, like social gathering space where you can display NFTs and things like that.
Starting tomorrow, it'll become more
yeah.
multiplayer. Yeah, tomorrow, like the multiplayer side launches, and they're doing like a rave in game, and after that launch, the like explorable world outside of your bedroom will be accessible, is my understanding.
So yeah, we'll give this away. Let me put it in Discord.
I also agree with what Lance was saying earlier. It's way harder to do finance crimes and money laundering with crypto assets and get away with it. Like, sure, you can pull it off way quicker. That's for damn sure. But like 3-4 years from now, you 100% are getting fucked. Like the thing when you commit crime with crypto.
Yeah, then typical.
Yeah, when you commit a crime with crypto, you're not betting that you can get away with it today. You're betting that you can get away with it forever, because the fucking information is on the blockchain.
That's a really good way to put it. Forever. You have to get away with it forever. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that's when you could do crimes on a public ledger. You assume you can get away with that shit forever. So
yeah, and there's a lot of positives and negatives to the fact that it's forever. Every single thing is imprinted forever. That's good and bad. But in the case of money laundering and cyber crimes, it's typically
better.
I don't think you're going to outpace the ability for enforcement of these things to
you
find
you never can.
They may not find you now, but 5 years from
now
they will. Yeah.
Look at the history of like crime and like law enforcement. Criminals are always on the cutting edge of technology. They're always a step ahead of law enforcement, and law enforcement is really fucking savvy. So like, I mean, you go all the way back to like the pirate era. Like pirate ships were probably the most advanced ships out on the fucking ocean. You know, they got like ridiculous amounts of technology that they stole from a bunch of other military like ships, but then you'd get like a pirate ship with like Spanish Navy technology and fucking like India like technology and all this stuff combined, and like that's how they stay one step ahead. Today they're like using digital assets that are like what's it called, Z-Snark, like zero knowledge proof rollups, where you can make transactions and the only thing on the ledger is that a transaction was made, not who made it or how much was spent. So like there is definitely ways that stuff becomes more obscured and more anonymous. But yeah, like you said, it's good and bad. You know, I actually really like the fact that this stuff is public forever, because I live in the same world we all live in, and I have to admit, the world is in desperate need of systems that keep their users honest, because holy shit, the users are not honest.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and start this Grubfish.
Let's do it.
So if you'd like to actively put in commands here.
Oh, you got a purple tail willow.
Can't guarantee it'll help, but
I shouldn't have said anything. I feel like now Willow's gonna get sniped.
It's a classic mistake.
Okay, good. I was gonna be bad. I would have felt bad if Willow got cut first, but no.
Well, that's fine if you don't put your wax ID. That's like a little quality of life improvement that Gaz does. So like if you're a streamer, you can just click on the name and then it'll automatically pull up their wallet input into Atomic Hub. But honestly, we do it our own way, and so we don't really need it since we have our separate form, because we typically don't send prizes directly on stream. We'll do it afterwards. So in that way, we have our master spreadsheet of people's wallets.
Damn, least comic by the skin of your pants, dude. Oh no. Oh, again, look at that. Least comic, you're getting close calls. I should stop calling you out.
Oh man, well, it's good to see green again in my stock portfolio. It was getting pretty brutal. Yes. We took some big hits.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
I started playing around with options and I just got fucking wrecked a couple months ago. So I dipped a toe. I took a little break. I dipped the toe back in the water and I did that like short QQQ position.
QQQ, yeah, fuck
and, yeah. And I was like, oh man, I think at the monthly close I could probably squeeze out a little bit more, but I don't even want, I just want to take the profits and just reset. And so I felt good. I like made 50%. And
yeah, 50%.
I could get a win under my belt, kind of ease back in. I had a plan. Yeah. I had an exit plan for the profits I want to take. So I was able to not chase the dragon,
Ooh, that was close.
and then re-enter again, you know, and still be able to do my short sentiment.
Yeah, definitely. Options trading is a fucking like what a crapshoot. It's very oh, that's it.
See, it seems so lucrative, but the time is what gets you. It's the fact that there's time.
Yeah,
there's an expiration date on it, and the value of the option goes down as the time goes down. And so in that way, you could read the market right, but you didn't read the time right, and then you're constantly trying to chase that. So
yeah, and SQQQ is, for anyone curious, SQQQ is a leveraged ETF that tracks the inverse of the NASDAQ. So what that means, what that means in normal like speak, is if the NASDAQ index goes down 1%, the SQQQ ETF will increase 3%. So it's basically inverse exposure. You can effectively short sell the NASDAQ by buying shares of SQQQ without actually structuring a short position. The risk, of course, is that as a leveraged ETF, there is maintenance for the interest for such positions, and that maintenance is not necessarily super transparent on the front end, and it might be difficult to understand when position shiftings happen within the ETF fund. So it's definitely not a long-term hold, but it is it's a good position to pick up for a few weeks or whatever while the markets turn down, or even to add to your existing stock position as a hedge against your other equity assets. Either way, SQQQ is a 3 times leveraged ETF of the
it's
NASDAQ.
Pretty aggressive.
Extremely aggressive. If you want to be insane, you buy options on the ETF.
So exclamation point play. If you want to do this giveaway, we're going to do another Club Chaos. So just for context, for anyone new, so this is Tourist Station. Tourist Station's actually a project done by the Boffin brothers, right? And they're the guys who are working with Sammy Snake to do like the 3D iteration of Nova Rally. So this is their project. It's like a pixelated kind of multiverse kind of thing or social gathering space, I guess is the best way I could put it. And these will open for 2 cosmetics. You need to have at least one asset from their collection. They're opening up. It hasn't been open to multiple players. It's only an individual thing. And then tomorrow they're opening it up to everyone at the same time. So in order to be there for like their party things, their kind of release party, you need at least one asset to join. And we'll be streaming that tomorrow as well. But anyway, this will be your entry point into that.
Ooh, I bought 3 Naughty Scotties yesterday for 116 wax each, and now the floor is 160. Boom! I was like, what? $11 for a Naughty Scotty? There's no way that's not a good deal, right?
Right. So, Amirta, I'm not familiar with the context here. What do you think about OpenSea going down for almost 100% in NFT sales so far? As in, like, their sales volume has gone down 100%?
It's like 96 point something percent.
Is that because of the bear market, or is there like a competitor or something? Or
it's a bit of both. So the way that obviously, yes, the NFT sales across the board are down, but also new marketplaces for Ethereum based NFTs and in general marketplaces that are specific to projects are becoming more and more the standard. Like when you participate in let's think of something we've talked about on like DeFi Kingdoms, for example, right? DeFi Kingdoms has its own NFT marketplace as part of its infrastructure. Like you buy and trade their NFTs within the game. That is becoming a lot more common, especially in the Ethereum space.
Easier to develop?
Because it's easier to develop, it's easier to like maintain, your
you're not getting eaten alive by custodial fees.
Yeah, and the experience you can cultivate better for your users. So because of that, and because of the way that the NFT token standards on the Ethereum blockchain work, the volume is going down a shitload. Because when you post your NFT for sale on a on the in-game marketplace for whatever you're interacting with, that sale does not automatically populate into OpenSea. You would also need to list this thing for sale on OpenSea as a separate transaction. And because
whereas
of that,
on Wax, like the atomic asset standard, anything that's an atomic asset would show up on Atomic Hub, correct? or it would show up on every marketplace
exactly.
as long as
that's
they're
on the Wax
standard.
blockchain. That's the atomic asset. When you have an NFT on Wax, that is like an atomic asset standard, which is the standard for NFTs on Wax. When you list those items on any marketplace, they populate to every marketplace across the blockchain.
And that's why there's that 2% market fee, or I think it's called the market fee, right?
Tokenomics fee.
Or the tokenomics fee. And then it's 1% to the maker and 1% to the taker. So
no, you were actually right. There is the tokenomics fee is separate. That's for the blockchain. And then there is the market fee. And exactly. That gets split. The 2% goes 50-50 maker taker. So if you're buying something on Atomic Hub that was listed on Nifty blocks, 1% of that sale is going to Atomic Hub for the buying transaction, while 1% of that sale goes to the seller, or not to the seller, but to the seller marketplace where it was listed. So it would go to Nifty blocks for having listed it in the first place. But yeah, because that token standard that allows that auto propagation across the entire marketplace infrastructure on Wax doesn't exist in Ethereum, that dramatically helps to exacerbate that OpenSea problem, and why you're seeing OpenSea with like 98% less volume today than they had this time last year. It's because on Ethereum now there's 100 more marketplaces, and they're all like either like some of the highest volume trading stuff, like Axie Infinity NFTs, for example, trade in the Axie Infinity marketplace. So they won't hit OpenSea anymore when they used to, or like even like Zrun and stuff, they'll start building their own marketplaces. And now all of those Zrun listings no longer appear on OpenSea.
Yeah, it doesn't seem ideal for the user, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're always having to jump to the native place where NFTs exist for things that you may be trying to get into. So that does seem like not as convenient for the collector, but then at the same time, OpenSea does take a cut of a lot of these things. So as a buyer or a seller, you might be saving on fees by going onto these native in it's ecosystem also marketplaces. So it could balance out, honestly. I mean, I guess it's not any different than going to like a website, like someone's not on Amazon, so you go to their website to buy their stuff. It doesn't seem that inconvenient to what we're all used to.
Exactly. So there's the thing that I really like that you brought that up, where it's like where you could go on Amazon and buy something. That's what I really like, the experience, and I really like what you're saying here. The experience of NFT trading on Wax P is superior, like full stop, than any other chain that I've used. And it's because of that like idea of like I could buy my Marcy's treats, for example. I could buy those at like Petco or at PetSmart or on Amazon or at Costco, and I'm going to get quoted a different price based on where I'm buying. On Wax, if like an item is listed somewhere for a price, it's populated everywhere for that price. So if I'm buying an NFT listing, so if I'm buying an NFT on OpenSea, that same NFT could be for sale on a different, like on Rarible, for less. And
which I guess is good. It gives you an opportunity as a buyer to find a good deal, and maybe there's some arbitrage opportunities, but it's not. But that takes extra time and effort to be able to shop around and do those things that everyone may not want to do, and people could end up overpaying or underselling because of that factor, because they didn't take the time, knowing that that's the nature of the marketplace. So it's positive and negative. So it is a huge. It's a underappreciated piece of the Wax ecosystem, that you are always seeing everything that's around at all times on any marketplace. So each of them have different qualities that they have. Atomic Hub's good at certain things, NFT Block's good at certain things, ChainChamp's good at certain things, but you always know you're looking at the same things all the time because of the atomic asset standard.
Exactly. There's never been a time when I'm like click sort by lowest price where I'm like, let me also check Atomic Hub. Let me also check ChainChamps and make sure this is the lowest price. Because if I sort by lowest price, I know that on Wax, I'm getting the lowest price for this asset listed across the entire blockchain. But Stuff Lewis is backstage.
Loopy Lou in the house.
Nice. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. And I do think like it's fun. I see those same headlines. Of course, I'm like in the space, and I follow like that stuff. And I like to see that, people talking shit about basically like, oh, the NFT bubble is popping and like the volume is down to like nothing, or like down to like, 10% of what it used to be and stuff. And it's just like, that's not true. The volume on this marketplace platform is down.
Yeah, I would say the OpenSea bubble's popping.
Yes, that's a much more fair thing. But it requires an understanding of like the landscape of the NFT market that just you can't expect from somebody writing these articles. So it's like, I'm fine with it. Like, I like to see that stuff and I like to hear people say that. And when people like regurgitate that information to me where they're like, oh, NFT sales are down 90%, I'm like, okay, so you don't participate in the NFT markets.
NFT sales on this one chain, on this one marketplace. That's like one. I mean, and Ethereum is where a lot of the biggest volume of cash is. That's not insignificant.
Why the NFTs are more expensive.
But it is a piece of the picture, and it's disingenuous or at least ignorant to not see the whole picture.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm not really loopy. I mean, I guess time will tell, but I feel all right.
Damn. That's kind of disappointing.
Give you a copy of the footage? Do you get to save that? Can we
can we turn it into an NFT?
They showed me pictures. They're like, here's pictures of your colon. I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm looking for. Like, it's just a fucking circle with the yellow shit in there.
Yeah, it's more like Magic School Bus. Oh, that's how it works. How it's made, the Lewis edition.
Yeah, the colonoscopy is fine. I mean, I was knocked out for it, so I can't tell you the inner details. But
did you wake up with an IV in your hand or in your arm?
I went to sleep with an IV in my arm, so yeah.
Oh, in your arm. I hate that fucking when they pulled out that like little tube. Like, I had it in my hand last time. They pulled out the tube at the end. It just felt like it was like I was being unplugged from the Matrix or some shit. Yeah, there you go. I thought I was being unplugged from the Matrix. That shit was so fucking far in there.
All right, GG Random King. Let me screenshot this guy.
Hot damn. Oh yeah, and we saw some of these robots, the V-bots.
Did you guys already do the 100 wax investment and stuff?
No.
We've been ranting.
I got some other off the rails content, but I can wait.
All right, I'm gonna run the Stream Raiders and do one more Crittercraft, and then we'll pivot into the tech talk stuff. So
yeah, we were just gonna look at like the wax.
Damn, I missed all the fun stuff.
I mean, we're just gonna look at the crypto market and then touch on the investment for a second. And we're gonna talk. I was thinking about talking about like the Ethereum merger, but that's still a few weeks away, so we could totally hold off on that.
But it is a pretty big change in the crypto crypto landscape, as where the biggest volumes of DeFi money exist on Ethereum. So changing to a proof of stake model, specifically to that chain, it does have some pretty big implications. And a lot of people build on Ethereum as well. There's far more dApps on that than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, we're going on a floor scholar here, y'all. So don't fuck it up. We gotta go big on this one.
I'm counting on you.
Maybe I think the ace in the hole here is this artillery one. So we're gonna go with that guy.
Nice.
All right. So one more Crittercraft. We'll do one more of these tourist station packs.
Yeah, that
tomorrow. I don't know if you announced tomorrow is the Club Chaos launch party.
And we're saying you need one of these assets. So this opens for 2. So this is like a ticket for you and a friend.
It's also
there you go, nice.
It's not just these assets. It's not like only the stuff from these packs. Anything from their collection, you just need one asset from like the entire collection. And tomorrow, I believe we'll be streaming during the Club Chaos party, so we can show that off. There's a sweet neon space corner. They put up a couple of our signs and our logo. And I also sent them some gyrating hips music, so they might be DJing. Part of the party is a member of their team is a musician, so he made all original music, and they're going to be like DJing live music at the party for Club Chaos.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, they have some of the music is like their NFTs as well, like the little floppy disks that like play music.
They'll probably be playing some of that. Super dope. Also contributed some music, and then I contributed some music. So there's gonna be a DJ set, and also I'm just excited to see like the multiplayer part, because so far you've only been able to hang out solo in your bedroom. So being able to interact with other people will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, agreed. And then I think after that launch tomorrow, you'll be able to leave the bedroom just from then on, is my understanding. Yeah.
He was like, I asked him, I was like, if I have my colonoscopy because I got the day wrong, can I still check out Club Chaos? He's like, yeah, Club Chaos will just be live, but there won't necessarily be a live DJ set when they're not doing that.
Can other people come to your apartments and stuff now? Or like in that new update?
I'm not sure. I think you have to
I'm not sure about that one yet either.
Zone, but we'll figure out tomorrow, I guess.
I would really be into that kind of a thing, just to have like a little, especially if it was like a reasonably priced like virtual lands. Like I'm all about like having a little like digital apartment if it's like $10, you know,
free for this
or free,
but as long as you own one.
I mean, I think in general, like digital lands are way too expensive at the moment still. Like
because the people treat them as speculative investments, honestly.
Yeah, it's just
like digital real estate is not like buying a house. I don't know. I'm proving wrong. Prove me wrong 5 years from now, and someone sells their fucking digital land for like $100,000. But I'm sure they will. I don't think that you can speculate on that like you would a real estate market in outside the metaverse.
Yeah.
So and you know, a lot of those utilities are just cookie cutters of each other, and none of them really are a true hub. This is my take on the metaverse stuff. Is it's not a metaverse. It's like it's a social space for one chain. There is no single spot that is like a centralized hub of all chains, right? So you basically hang out in this space with people who are only native to this one ecosystem. And so in that way, it really isn't everyone in one spot. So I think that concept hasn't quite fleshed out truly. Not to say it won't get there, but as of right now, you know, are you in the metaverse on Ethereum? Are you in the metaverse on Wax? Are you in the metaverse on Solana?
You know, Zero helps bridge that because the Axis Zero is going to be on Ethereum, on Wax, and then also most likely BSC. So there's going to be the opportunity to bridge in NFTs from multiple blockchains for Axis Zero.
That's the ideal scenario.
That's cool.
And then you can use that ecosystem to then, from a crypto standpoint, be able to bridge assets too, either NFT assets or token assets, and you can have a bridge token, and that's super valuable to a lot of people in the crypto space as well. So
right, I'd love to be able to display my like Stake DAO NFT or something in like a Wax like apartment or whatever, or like my Leatherface from Ultra Rare that's an Ethereum like thing. That'd be a fun thing to like. Just to be able to like display stuff that you have on other chains, or like my DeFi Kingdom heroes or whatever, like NFTs that I have on other chains.
All right, last one. GG to everyone.
My crypto piggy.
I forgot I bought those sock puppets on.
Yeah, I have those. Those are fun too. Like I'd be down to display those places. Plus, they were like what?
They were like $1.
Like less, yeah. Like they're like less than $1. They're super cheap, like 5 wax or 5 like 1. I thought that was a fun like little project too. How they're all like, oh, this is gonna take out a bunch of people. But yeah, I also don't like buy them to sell them, and I don't trust that like marketplace to like not rob me, so I don't interact with it anymore. Oof, the blood. Can't see your tail. Let's see, Omerta, did I see your tail? No, I don't think I can see yours either. Oh, wait. No, that's Eric. Yeah, he's got a green one. Yeah, sorry, Omerta. I was like looking for you. I'm like, nope, I think I already cursed you by saying it out loud. Eric Yo is next because I mentioned his green tail. Sorry, Eric. Let's see. Oh, okay, good. I was gonna say the curse is real. But yeah. Let's see what. Oh, yeah, check out my my quests in Cosmos 11. I gotta set an alarm for like 45 minutes after the hour so I can get into some of these.
Yeah, they Cosmos 11. Yeah, they fill up pretty quick.
They do.
Oh well, thank you NFT Gamer TV for the raid. I don't have the notification thing set up, so appreciate that.
Shout out T Davis. Shout out Sonica.
Shout out to the family,
friends of the brand.
Yeah. I think
general
T Davis
overall
is
pals on wax.
T Davis will help me. He helped me understand how to do the mutable attributes for our circuitry Henry. So shout out for that.
They're also working on some cool stuff behind the scenes. I don't think I'm at liberty to talk about it, but I'm in a private channel in their Discord, and there's some cool stuff being cooked up.
Yeah, no doubt. There's definitely.
Well, yeah, so this is a good transition for the raid. We're about to finished the giveaways, unfortunately, but actually, I don't know. We can do one more if we're feeling squirrely, but
we can do some more after we
we'll do one more.
Yeah, we can do one
live
after you do some tech stuff, Max. But we're gonna go over some chart reading, go over kind of the broad strokes of the crypto market, and then check back in on Max's 100 wax investment.
Yeah,
we'll do it live. Fuck it.
And I think he wanted to touch on some Ethereum merger stuff, depending on how long.
Yeah, let's delete some of these lines and make some space in here.
I think also NFT Gamer TV is going to be going live for Taco Tuesday in a bit. We'll probably raid back into them. Very incestuous raid situation.
Nice. All right, so let's start really quick by I'm going to hide this. I'm looking at the Ethereum and Bitcoin markets as I usually do because those are the kings in the crypto space. And everything else kind of follows them. This is Ethereum, the one I've been watching most closely. So since last week, okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Since last week, we kind of had a little bit like last week when we talked, we were kind of like coming back up, and I was like considering we might make it all the way back to this green line, which would have been like the middle B bands line before being rejected. We didn't even make it that far. It still got rejected, and now it looks like we're finding support at the last level of support. Right here at 1460 is where I kind of like thought that would be. Personally, I'm still kind of a bear. So let's take a look at all these metrics put together. We're on the daily chart right now. I changed my candles to Heiken Ashy. So if you click the candles here, by default, trading view candles look like this. I think the Heiken Ashy like algorithm makes it a lot easier to look at. Not hollow candles, sorry, Heiken Ashy, there it is. So it's a little bit more like, I don't know, I like it better. So I changed it to that. And then for the indicators here, I've added this is called the Bollinger Bands. So if you just type in, if you have indicators and you were to type BB, you got the Bollinger Bands, you can add those. This one right here is OBV. This is the on balance volume. And then this one right here is the Stoch RSI. So SRSI. So those are kind of like the main indicators. And then these lines I just drew over time. So that's kind of like what we're looking at here. Anyway, what we're seeing is the market spot price has been dropping, has been bound kind of like when we charted it 2 weeks ago, we were kind of up here and I was saying, I think we're topped out and I think we're going to like fall at least to this green line. And we fell like right through the fucking green line. So then the next week when we looked, we're like, okay, maybe we can retest the green line, not even close. And now we're dropping. We found support at 1460. And let's take a look at how our on balance volume did in that same time. So you can see when the price kind of like fell to this first spot where it started to get like a little bit bounce back, we had the on balance volume right around here, like 21.8, 20.6. During the bounce back, trying to like make usually what we want to see is higher highs and higher lows to be in like to get some bullish sentiment here. So now the spot price, after we topped out around here, we fell to a lower spot price here. We're now lower than we were here, but the unbalanced volume seems to be around the same level. So we're actually making this would be effectively a higher low because it's high, like it's the same height, but the spot price is lower. So this on the daily feels a little bit more of a bullish kind of like, okay, it looks like even though we're lower spot price, the on balance volume didn't drop quite as low. We're now kind of starting to make a little green here, and we're definitely oversold. So on the bottom side of the RSI, if we look at that RSI too, you can see The blue line has crossed, is now in front of the orange line, which usually indicates the price is moving upward. You can see here the blue line is behind the orange line. The price is falling this entire time. That's this whole time here. And then here where the blue line is in front of the orange line, like it is now, usually that is correlated with positive price movements. So right now what we're seeing as far as on the daily chart for Ethereum, which is by extension my kind of like metric for the entire crypto market, it looks like we're finding support at about 1460 and we're starting to bounce from here. My expectation will be we're going to try to retest this green line again, possibly make it to the middle of the B bands before I'm a bit of a bear, before I think we will get rejected and continue our trend down. That expectation for this trend to continue downward, even though we're seeing what I would say is on the very short term here over the last 3 weeks or so, we're seeing like, or 2 weeks or so, we're seeing what would be, you know, a very slightly higher high, or sorry, higher low point on the OBV. And in general, since kind of like we've bottomed out here, the OBV had been making higher lows. So you can see like the first time we bottomed out, low point, the next bottom out, even though the spot price was about the exact same level on this line, the OBV was climbing, and then we bottomed to that same level a third time, again with a higher low. All of these climbing, indicating that, you know, we're moving up. So that gave us a good picture of like, maybe we will break this downtrend upwards once around here. And then of course we did. Started making a higher high, possibly even here. I have to zoom out and take a look. My scroll wheel is fucked. One of these days I'll get a different mouse. So you can see that the spot price when we peaked off here where we were rejected from this pull up is around the same as it was over here. And we're almost at the same level on the OBV. So we're not really making higher highs yet. We are making a few higher lows. And like I said, even in the very short term, this feels like a higher low, even though it's kind of on the same level because the spot price is actually lower. So again, in the short term, in the coming days, it looks like this is probably going to climb. This is probably going to climb, possibly retesting to the green line here. If it is able to turn this to support, it could push beyond here and move upward some more. But, and the RSI also indicating, you know, we're in the short term here, we're in a trend that's moving up. So why am I feeling kind of bullish, bearish rather, on the longer term? And that has to do with the SPY. The SPY, this is the index that trades, that tracks the S&P 500, which is in the United States. That's basically the stock market. It's like boomer assets of the stock market. So S&P 500 tracks stuff like Coca-Cola, Kellogg's, you know, like well-established gigantic companies that aren't gonna like moon overnight, that like aren't gonna collapse into obscurity in the next few months. Like it's basically, you know, Procter and Gamble is part of that, which, you know, they own stuff like Duracell, Dove, like literally everything you buy at the grocery store is owned by Procter and Gamble, and they're part of the S&P 500. So this is an indicator that tracks the entire basically stock market. And I've been watching this, and this is clearly a lot less of a bounce than what we're seeing in Ethereum today on the daily chart. And we did kind of make, you know, a high here, but look, the spot price is higher than it was last time. We were around the same level, maybe slightly higher. This doesn't constitute a higher high to me because it correlates with a higher spot price as well. It would be a higher high if the spot price was the same, but the OBV was higher. So if we actually look at the OBV in general, it is clearly trending down. These are kind of like the peaks. And these peaks are definitely, unless we're counting this as a peak, where I would say this peak is definitely making a higher high, but we haven't seen a higher low before that yet. So either way, this is still very clearly in a downtrend. And again, the reason that peak is higher here is also correlating with a higher spot price. So this doesn't feel like a fair higher high. And then here on the RSI, we've fallen off pretty aggressively over the last few days, and now are on the floor here, kind of oversold. But in a downtrend, you can see like oversold can stay like here. It stayed on this like lower end of the RSI for weeks. And then, you know, even as we retest back to the middle B bands line here, that brings us all the way up to like, or let's see, let's go somewhere like here. This one brought us all the way up to overbought, even though we didn't even cross the middle B band line. So you can move quite a bit in between this. Like these are just all kind of like indicators that you can work together to kind of get a clear picture. But what I'm seeing here is the RSI or the SPY is still trending down. I'm going to zoom out a little further here to kind of get a picture of our whole bull market and why I feel like it's ended. So this is all bull market. This collapse here is the COVID-19 crash. So you can see it's like right February 2020, right around when the world's infrastructure was shut down, when the supply chain came to a halt, and when everybody was staying at home and businesses kind of like grounded to a stop. All of these markets collapsed and literally within a few months recovered to their former price. This is a correction within a bull market still. Like you can see all this stuff is just climbing. And even the OBV barely sold off. Like you're making a low that's relative to this low, but look how much lower the spot price is. This is definitely a higher low, even though it's clearly lower. You're seeing the spot price is so much lower, and we're basically at the same level on the OBV. So this was kind of nice way to indicate we're moving up, and in the bull market, climbing. Very metered corrections here. Aside from this collapse, which of course is on the back of a global pandemic and international crisis, most of the sell-offs that happen during a bull market are pretty fucking small. And then so you have here, we get to the peak of what I would say this is the top of the bull market, and then we start getting a lot more volatile. Like you look at how aggressively we pumping up and dropping down. And this is much like the action here versus the action I'm seeing here is way more indicative of a bear market. Bear markets are way more volatile, lots more aggressive pumps and dumps in bear markets than in bull markets. Bull markets, sure, you got nice pumps, they get corrected, and then they continue to climb. It's just like a grind up. Whereas bear markets is like steep sell-offs with aggressive corrections followed by continued steep sell-offs. And it's like this game of bears and bulls trying to like psych each other out effectively. But because I'm still seeing no new higher high, I would say, because we're getting a higher spot price here, I don't count this as a higher high. Still a downtrend on the OBV, still generally looks like we're selling off. I still think we're moving down. And then like Mark was saying at the beginning of the stream, we're coming up on a monthly close here. Let's look at the monthly on the SPY. This is actually really interesting. You can barely see the start of the bear market here. Look at this. So these are bear markets in the past. This is, for example, the 2008 collapse where we sold off, for the whole fucking year. This is relative to that. This is the 2020 collapse. This is the COVID crash compared to the 2008 collapse, which we probably remember. These previous bear markets, I don't really remember participating in the market back then. But you can see it's very fucking clean. On the monthly chart, we are clearly, closing every month above the middle B band line until we're not. Once we're not, oh man, it's a bear market for months. And then here, okay, yeah, we closed, immediately pushed back above. Even the little blips that are like the 2020 crash here literally didn't last more than 1 month. Like that's one candle. And now, what are we seeing now is, let me zoom in with my shitty scroll wheel. There we go. The monthly chart is closing like trash. You can still see we haven't even started making lower lows or lower highs on the monthly. Like this is still climbing the trend. And look at these what are they called? The RSI, way oversold. So on the short term on the monthly, we could see a pump again to kind of bring this back. But also look at what we're looking at here. The RSI sold off all the way to oversold right here. That's before the majority of the collapse in the 2008 stock market. Same could be true here. We've sold off kind of aggressively, but ultimately only really to the middle B band line here. So this is possibly because it was over aggressively, climbing due to, in my opinion, irresponsible fiscal policy and just printing fucking money. But that's another discussion. Either way, I'm not put off by the fact that this is already oversold, because look what happened the last bear market. We were oversold. We had that little green month like we're having, kind of like almost like what we're seeing here. And then we continued selling off for like almost a fucking year here. Yeah, 2008 to 2009. Like this whole year, just into the toilet, actually starting to make some lower lows. So we haven't seen, like if we go back here, kind of where we are now on the chart, like that, we haven't seen this on balance volume drop off like we see in the previous 2008 fall. So we're here. We haven't seen that kind of collapse on the OBV. So it's still kind of like a muddied picture, but ultimately the monthly close, we're closing below the B bands line with the monthly candle. This candle is about to close here and we'll start a new one. That's what I mean by monthly close. So that closes tomorrow and we'll start drawing a new candle here. And my assumption is we will not be closing above this middle B band line unless there's some pretty dramatic changes in like fiscal policy, which I just don't see happening. Ultimately, I imagine the Fed is going to stay the course, continue to increase inflation or adjust inflation, rather, increase interest rates and make money more expensive, meaning values of these prices will be correcting back to where, you know, and again, even if they correct back to where they were pre-COVID, you know, we're looking at that would be kind of like here, 2018, 19. Yeah, it would be like here. I mean, even that is like a still 20 to 30% sell off just to get, you know, to what is that, like 320 or something from where we're at now, which is almost 400. So 398. I think there's still a long way down here. And it's important to, I think, keep a track of that in line with what we're looking at here on the other. And so here's on the monthly chart here, we can see the Ethereum market. And it becomes a lot more clear that like, oh yeah, this feels like a bear market. You know, now when you look on the monthly chart, it's like, oh yeah, we're closing below the B band line, barely finding support on that middle line. It literally just fell right through. Like that kind of stuff happens in bear markets. Let's check out the Bitcoin really quick as well. We're seeing the same stuff happening there. And also, oh God, scroll wheel. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, got it. But also looking here on the monthly, this is a nice thing to see. So I'm looking for lower lows. Remember on the OBV, it doesn't feel like a lower low, but let's take a look at the last time the monthly candles were in this price range was around here. Yeah, like here-ish, which is on the OBV chart about the same still. So not necessarily making lower lows. We're kind of sold off. So we'll have to see what happens here. Again, the daily, I think, is looking a little oversold. We could correct back, but I think on the monthly and on the wider spectrum here, I'm expecting to see these markets continue to sell off into the next several weeks, months. I think we'll get another chance at these red levels in the future. And then let's take a look really quick at wax, just because why not? This is wax in USDC, or I'm sorry, in USDT on KuCoin. So we can see that, you know, the sell-off here kind of as it intensified right from here, this whole bit lost a lot of unbalanced volume, and we can see we're making like lower lows, kind of trending down. And then since here, even though the price has been, you know, from here forward, I'll just show it like this, from here forward, the price has been falling, but the OBV has been climbing. This indicates a breakout, like you would see possibly wax could pump aggressively. But the reason not to get too excited about that is because we're only looking at the order book from one exchange. So to get a better picture for wax, we would want to come up here to WaxP and also look at it on, for example, Binance, Bitrex, and some of these other exchanges. So Binance is the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world by volume. So let's check that one too. And we're seeing a similar thing here where the price is falling and the on-balance volume is climbing. What that generally speaking indicates is that money is entering the market. So people are interested in accumulating at these prices. And look at this.
Got to get them Funkos.
OBV, like people are pouring money into this market as the price is just decimating. At some point, this comes to a tipping point where, you know, more money is continuing to enter, but the sell pressure stops, and that tends to result in pretty aggressive pumps. We'll have to see. But you're seeing a similar thing playing out over here, for example, where we have a falling market with a rising OBV, which eventually results in this giant pump. And then that's the crazy part here, is like pump in OBV, and none of this money that entered the market left as it dumped. So let's take a look at how that looked over on Bitrex, for example. How'd they do? And again, we're seeing something kind of similar. OBV climbing, price more or less like around here now, or here. But look at this OBV, substantially higher than the last time that the price was in this range. Let's check another order book here. ONX, for example, what they got going on. Okay, they started trading wax a lot more recently, but are also seeing a sell-off in price joined with a increase in OBV. So wax definitely is a little bit decoupled from the like reality that we're seeing on the Bitcoin and Ethereum markets. I think a lot of what wax has going for it is anonymity. People aren't really that savvy to wax, and they really haven't started pushing for decentralized financial adoption yet for this blockchain. For the most part, wax is used, for indie creating and for like a few big major projects creating NFTs, but it can be used for a lot more. Like, I think they have a big plans in the future to integrate more decentralized finance strategies into wax, to bridge it into Ethereum's DeFi kind of economy a little bit more aggressively and more actively, so you can more easily take money from the DeFi scene on Ethereum and bring it into the wax chain. I think that's in the works. And then also like a VIRL marketplace where vendors can basically buy and sell NFTs that are redeemable for physicals. And I think that whole side of this technology hasn't really taken off yet. So there's a lot on the horizon for wax that can see it decouple from the rest of these markets, because it has its own niche. And that niche just doesn't exist in Bitcoin or Ethereum or the SPY, really. And as someone who's a creator on wax, I could tell you firsthand, I buy wax because I fucking use it. Like, I use it to mint NFTs. I use it for resources to like stake and to play games on wax and stuff. So it's a currency where it's like, yeah, I'm not just buying wax to speculate and maybe sell it for more later. I'm buying wax to stake to my account and then play video games with it. Like, so I really like little assets like this. But all of that said, I think the takeaway here is we're looking at the market seems to me to be in a general bear trend. Like, since already like the start or the end of like 2021, since 2022, we've been trending down. I've been tracking this like downtrend for a while. I think in the coming week we could see a little bit of volatility here. We could see some retesting of former resistance levels, and possibly those levels holding up as resistance and rejecting. Let me get in here. Rejecting that price correction. Again, I'm thinking, this chart will probably come up something like here and then continue to move down. By the time we get to where my blue line ends, I would be expecting to see the price kind of in these orange red areas again. But we'll have to see. It can change, of course. This picture is ever changing and evolving every day, every minute, even. Like, these prices every fucking couple seconds, this is changing, and these indicators are not obviously, tea leaves that you can use to tell the future. And one thing to keep in mind when you do look at charts to predict what will happen in the future is that past performance of something does not indicate future performance of something. So just because we can see patterns and that it feels like something's going to play out and something happened in a certain way in the past, and I know I'm making those comparisons because that is a big staple of like doing technical analysis, is to look for patterns and to like basically feed your confirmation bias for what you think was going to happen, is what this technique is. But it's important to understand that it really is just it's not a science. Like, this isn't like, you can get burned, you can get like taken blindsided by like these kind of moves, because at the end of the day, an individual person or entity with deep pockets can move a market like this by themselves. So for now, I'm thinking we're staying the course. We're moving down, and I'm gonna jump into our 100 wax investment with this sentiment in mind. I expect wax might actually either hold its price or climb in value to retest resistance levels in the coming week, and then we'll reassess next week to basically either cut our short-term bullish sentiment back to bearish, or reassess and maybe go harder into the bullish side. So all of that said, let's take a look at how we're doing with our wax investment. I'm going to jump back over to a different tab here and go over to DeFi box. I always click the X when that thing pops up rather than agreeing to something. I don't see a difference. So, but yeah, so yeah, this thing where it's like term of usage, you could say agree. I just click X. I don't know. You do what you like. But let's jump into this. So I'm going to sign into a wallet that we made like 2 months ago, DeFi 1.ftw. There it is. And let's see, how have we done? So we come to we're at 129 now. So we had been at like 140 something in the past. So we're definitely like a little bit below where we were last week. But first let's get our liquidity mining yield. So I
CMW took a pretty big hit in the last week.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't get what's driving that, to be honest. I think it's just insecurity of every month when they don't know if they're going to continue the rewards.
I mean, last month it literally went down like 100% when the mining rewards ended. So anybody who's smart is going to front run that, wait until it drops, and then buy back at a lower price. So
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, look at this. Landbox is producing a higher APY or APR at the moment. Interesting. Oh, it's because the price came back up quite a bit. I was gonna say because in the past the price was lower, but the volume or the liquidity was about the same. But now that the price is higher and the liquidity remained the same, the APR is increasing. Same would go here as the price of CMW goes up, but the value of the total bilateral depth remains constant. This is going to climb as the value of this depreciates, but this stays constant. This drops. If this value increases and this value increases at the same time, this can also drop. So kind of keeping in mind what they like, because we're seeing here, this APY is calculated based on the like wax value of the CMW you're making, based on the wax value of your liquidity position. So let's see. I'm going to try to claim my mining rewards here again. It wasn't loading for me a second ago. I had this happen in the past where it was like nothing to claim or whatever, and I definitely have stuff to claim. And if that is the case, I should be able to claim these rewards manually if this doesn't populate.
So try to control F5.
Yeah, let me try that right now. Control F5. We'll check here once again. Oh, yeah, by the way, let's see what our position is. So this is 33 wax down from, this was 104 when we started. And this is the money that we took out, which was the 104 basically. So we're still keeping our principal secured. Our hedge strategy is working, which is great. But let's take a look if I can withdraw this now, or if we have to figure out how to do this manually, if it's not letting us do it through the web front end. Okay, now it is. So there we go. So we made 5.
Nothing like a hard refresh.
Yeah, that'll do it. So by the way, to do this manually, you can see lptoken.box. Claim all is the transaction we need to sign. lptoken.box, claim all. And then I just say my owner address. So we could do this manually, just in case. I'd like to show that just for a second here. In case that didn't work, we could have come here and done lptoken.box. Here, this is the contract, so we could go to the contract page. Then we could come here to actions and then claim all. And then here you would basically just type in your owner, and I think that would do it. Just the owner code is what it was asking for. And then you could submit the transaction. That would be the same thing as doing it through here. So in case you ever run into an issue where it's like, oh, I can't withdraw my liquidity, I can't claim my rewards, here's like the contract. So you can see here, create, destroy, retire rewards, here, remove, notify. Oh, that's a notification thing, modify pool. There's one of these has got to be like, remove your liquidity. So you can interact with all your smart contracts manually by just coming to Box. And again, typing in the name of the smart contract, going to the contract tab, clicking on the actions tab, and then finding what the actions are that you'd like to do. Same goes for literally any smart contract on Wax. That's something worth knowing. So let's take a look now. If I kind of toggle between these two, it'll show me my new balance, and we're at 133. So first things first, we have been selling off our liquidity for CMW. Last week, we compounded it into the CMW pool, which ended up not necessarily being a good move because let's take a look what happened between last week and this week. So it looks like we're on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 1 day. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 around here is where we compounded. So we compounded, we earned interest on the compounding, but all of the compounding plus the interest has lost this amount of value. I'm gonna go back to 4 hours. So that's about from here, 1.1 or something, all the way to 5.6. So we almost 50% of the value dropped over a week. So obviously, even though we're making 600% APR, that's not enough to keep up with a 50% price reduction in that short time. So the thing to think now is, should we continue with this strategy, stay in this pool, or is there a better idea for us to like make a passive income while also hedging our like Wax position? Because our goal is to make more Wax. Is this still the best strategy to serve that goal? So let's take a look at the metrics on this chart here. So I'm going to go, I'm on the 4 hours, good. And then here on the far right, you can click basically add the same indicators we were looking at the other chart. So let's do that. BB for Bollinger Bands. Here we got the Bollinger Bands now. So we can see, okay, we are getting rejected at the middle line, staying below the middle line. But how's the on balance volume doing? So we can OBV, add that as well. And here we can see, let's scroll down. As the price is falling, the on balance volume seems to be falling too. But here you can see, look at this. Price dumps, on balance volume dumps. Price recovers, on balance volume recovers all the way to where it was before. That would be a higher high on here. And then new lower low, but it's also correlating with a lower low in the price. That's fine. And then here you have a high. Again, this high matches kind of like the highs around here or whatever, dramatically higher still. So these metrics are kind of like, it looks kind of interesting. So let's zoom all the way out and see what's happened since the start of this currency. So it looks like since this has been entered, the market has been kind of like losing value. People are taking profits. Totally what you would expect from a currency that is printing at 600-700% APY. So that definitely tracks. But here you can see, look at this sell-off here really came with a harsh drop in OBV. And we haven't really recovered to that level, but we have recovered dramatically on OBV without recovering on the price. Ultimately, what this is telling me is this market is volatile as fuck. It's a little bit hard to predict like a direction on something like this. It can move so fast, and I could demonstrate that actually. Like I could move this market by myself. If I added 1,000 Wax to this order book, that would push the price 1.5%. That's $100. With $1,000, we could move the market 13%. That's a lot. You know, like you can move the entire market with a single transaction of 1,000 Wax. Or sorry, that's 10,000 Wax, $1,000. But either way, so knowing that it's hard to take these metrics and make as confident of predictions based on them, because the metrics are much lower volume, a lot less going on here, so they're a lot more gameable, a lot less confidence instilling. So let's see. I really like also, maybe we should take this opportunity. I don't think we should pull from the CMW pool. I think we should continue to ride that, but I'm also not convinced we should keep compounding the position. If we did that again, for example, this month, we could bring it up to 36 by adding our 3 wax to it, and then next week we could be down to like 28 or whatever. So maybe not. Basically, the risk profile doesn't make sense to me to continue to compound. We already have our exposure to this pool. We're still earning a decent yield from it. I don't think it's a bad idea to stay in a pool. This, again, we looked at the tokenomics for CMW, the distribution schedule that was published. Again, they could not stick to it. They have been so far, so let's see if it stays the way it is. But it suggests about a 6-month period of this type of distribution through liquidity rewards pools as the main distribution for the CMW token. After December, they will do another sale for NFTs. Those NFTs will stake for passive CMW token. And from December moving forward into next year, the inflation rate of CMW will not be exclusive to this liquidity mining, at which point it might be worth reassessing the health of the CMW project and the utility that the token, the utility of the token plus the demand for that utility. But because currently the utility of this token between now and December is more or less liquidity mining, and that liquidity mining is still relatively lucrative at 540%, I think we should stay in it. And so I'm going to stay in it. But then I also think we could do something else with our yield from this month. So I think to apply like a concept of diversification, let's take this and turn this into a yield bearing position on Taco Swap. So
yeah, here's a point here for you, Max. Are there games with upcoming events that you would bet on, like buying snake oil to sell the day before the racetrack sale, or things of that nature?
Yes, so I did that. And I think that is something that is very unique to the wax space, especially for people like us who are, community members, and we participate in playing these games. So we understand what is happening. Like we played Nova Rally, for example, and I know that there's a track sale coming up. I know that the sale is in snake oil token. I know that the snake oil token is distributed to staking holders. And I know that there hasn't been a lot of utility for snake oil tokens up until this point. That has driven the price. So knowing all of those things, I bought 60 million snake oil off the secondary market, and I added them to the liquidity pool, or I added 20 million to the liquidity pool. I kept 45 million so I could, buy a track for myself. And since then, I think snake oil is up 49% here. Let's take a look. Yeah, so we have a 17% spread right now with a pretty decent liquidity depth. You can see like this green line here is like people asking to buy stuff at these prices. And like by the time we drop to, 507, or here's 40, that's already, let's go to 4011. This is still almost the same price as up here. There is, if you can just click on this and then scroll down, and it'll basically auto-populate how much it would cost you to buy everything from here all the way down to here. So there is, within the current price, there's about 521 wax worth of resistance that you would have to buy, like sell, what is it? Like this amount of snake oil. That's 51 million snake oil to basically get this amount of wax out of these books. But if you wanted to buy it, look at the volume on this side, like barely anything. Like we could go all the way up to 70% higher than we are right now. If I click here and then scroll down, it would only cost me 1,400 wax to buy all that. So that's a 70% increase for 1400 wax, where almost 600 wax would do almost nothing to the price. It's still 11. You know, you're losing like 9% here. So let's see, what would it take to go 9% in the other direction of where we currently are? That would be like here-ish. That's 600. Okay, so it's about even on both sides. But yeah, what I did was I bought a bunch of these. I bought part of it from the order book and part of it from the swap, and then I have basically set the liquidity into the swap. So I went to the swap, added liquidity for snake oil and wax, added that into here, and then as the prices continue to go up, and as the day for the racetrack sale happens, I want to be in that pool to get, you know, people who are panic buying into those snake oil tokens while the sale is live. I want that volume. And then so my goal is to farm the liquidity up until the sale goes live. For the first hour or so, I'll probably be in that pool. Then I'll pull my liquidity and sell the rest of the snake oil that I don't need personally, because I already have enough to buy my own track. So yes, I absolutely pay attention to what type of events are happening, and then I make decisions based on the events within the gaming for gaming tokens. Same goes for Aether. When they published their page about Aether staking no longer to collections, no longer producing utility after the Ethereum after the Aether mining cycle ended, I pulled all my Aether. I was like, okay, cool. Like, let me front run this, you know, action before it actually takes place, knowing that people are reactionary and don't necessarily read all of this stuff or pay attention closely enough to know what the trajectory of these assets is going to be. And once the, you know, markets stop printing and all of the collections that people have hundreds of billions of Ether staked to, once they stop printing, then you know, like, what are they going to do with that Aether? Like, is there going to be a sink for Aether that's able to absorb that amount of like liquidity now being dumped on the market that was previously locked in these staking positions? My assumption is no. It'll fall, it'll lose its value, and so I front run that by selling out now and, you know, maybe buying back later. Same goes for kind of like every one of these like assets, like Brawl, for example. I recently bought blockchain brawlers. Like yesterday, I bought like a bunch. Actually, here, I'll pull up check out my brawler collection now. Here, I bought both of these last night because they were 116 wax. They're 160 now. Like, that's 30% overnight. Like, again, just knowing that blockchain brawlers is in between its mining phase. You can't do shit with this fucking NFT right now. And people react to that. People are like, oh, it's over, you know, like, fuck it, I'm selling everything.
Or they want liquidity right away.
Yeah, exactly. So like here, if I go to,
but yeah, I mean, Max makes a good point, at least to like talk through some of those things. But it depends on what kind of person you are. I think trying to ride the news on some of these things can be advantageous if that's the kind of trader that you are. You know, it takes time and effort to like read through these white papers, understand distribution models for some of these tokens or these games and how they progress. And that sort of active strategy may not be a one size fits all.
It's also a bit of a gamble. Like,
it is definitely a gamble.
It doesn't always pan out the way.
How much do you have?
The white paper says something doesn't mean it's gonna pan out that way.
Yeah. How much are you working with? How much can you afford to lose? In the context of this 100 wax investment, he's gearing these strategies towards more passive approaches. So that, even though he explained like the snake oil stuff and like a strategy you use for that, in the context of this 100 wax investment, that would be the more passive, less aggressive, less risk.
We also only do it on stream, so unless the track sales happening on the day we're streaming, you're gonna get screwed in a bag holding something.
That was why I was like, I can't do that with this.
Did you try doing like splitting, like doing an order book split, like an arbitrage move last week?
Oh yeah,
did that ever go through?
Let's take a look if we got that. So we almost did that with everything, but then last minute I had the wherewithal to be like, let's not risk all of this. Let's go with the sure thing that's going to produce like yield. rather than just let this sit on the order book. But yeah, let's take a look at what happened with that.
Also, real quick before we get too far away from it, Credit Metaverse is launching their peer-to-peer loan platform tomorrow.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And on top of that, the wax gained from that platform is used to buy back CMW off the market. So it should hopefully create some buy pressure from the team for CMW token.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Matt
so we
had
did
a question
not get
that
our order.
I think is going to be much more in depth, which is why I wanted to get out the first. He said, "Why use BB over Keltner channels?"
Say again.
The Bollinger Bands. Why do you use that over
your chart reading? Like what overlays you're using?
Why do you use Bollinger Bands over Keltner channels?
Oh, mostly just because of familiarity and habit. Like I've always used the Bollinger Bands. I really like the Bollinger Band with the outer limit indicators. I know that the other ones, there's like way more intricate ones that have like a much bigger array of like information. For me, I don't like the information overload. I like like here, for example, brawlers. I can go to the blockchain brawlers token, and even on Alcor, there's the indicators button up here, and then I just like to go for the Bollinger Bands just because it has this like little range. It's very easy for me to be like, okay, center line here, outer limits there. I'm trying to see it stay within these ranges, and then like for this one, I'd go on the daily chart to get a better understanding.
So more of a comfort level thing, and then one is better than the other.
Exactly. So all of this stuff is here. Look at this on the daily chart. The Bollinger Bands really help me stay bearish. Where it's like, okay, we're closing each day below the middle line. And even when we had a huge pump, it was to the middle line. And then it continues falling to the middle line, falling. We're staying below that B-band line pretty much this entire time. And I bet you if I pull up the OBV, we're going to see some money leaving this market. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah, price going down, OBV tanking. This is exactly what you expect to see in a bear trend. So this currency, I would say, is certainly in a bear market. But let's zoom in closer and closer. And here we're starting to kind of like bottom out a bit. I don't know. I personally bought some Brawl tokens and some Brawlers, like you saw, because I'm expecting, first of all, this has been selling off for fucking ever. The mining phase that fuels this sell-off stopped. So there's no longer like new Brawl entering the market. The only people selling it are people who have it now, or who are buying it high and selling it low, or buying it lower and selling it higher, or whatever. They're trying to like speculate these prices, or possibly like people like arbitraging, because you can actually trade Brawl on, I think KuCoin maybe. There's definitely like major exchanges that support Brawl token. But either way, I'm buying into stuff like this. You can see like, we're starting to flatten out on the OBV here. But let's see, what was the name of the other indicator? Let's see, let's compare it to the Bollinger Bands.
They just announced today they're delaying crafting until September 22nd for blockchain brawlers.
Oh yeah, so we'll probably see some more like opportunities to scoop some cheap brawlers and some cheap Brawl in the future. But again, I added mine to like the liquidity pool over on DeFi Box. Where you can see here, markets, DeFi Box. The Brawl pool is paying out like a 11% APY. And while I wait for this price to kind of like become more relevant for the utility to become more clear to people, and for like the demand of Brawl token to actually be understood a little bit better, I'm cool just like sitting here, leaving my wax exposed to this. I think I did like 4,000 wax worth into this pool, and I think it's currently worth about 3,500. So it's definitely like losing value in terms of wax, and it's definitely not keeping pace with that loss just with this 11% APY. But either way, I'm participating in this for the speculative reason that I believe that the wax team behind the blockchain brawlers will create a burn case and a utility case for their Brawl tokens. I like the alpha version of the game that we got to like test out, and I wanted to participate in that when that comes out. And seeing how cheap these brawlers were the other day, like I think I bought all of these for like $50 or something, which is like the cost of one Scotty back in the day.
That's so the cost of the price to get a mic from the pack.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was a mic. So now I got a mic here. I got a mic with the military muscle for like $11, which is, I don't know. Personally, I like that, especially considering this is going to be a game where these guys act as my player. I think, you know, the guy flipping you off, or even like this guy, the undead character here, Living Dead, flipping everybody off. That's funny to me. There's 27 of them, and I could pick them up for $20. I'm interested in that, not necessarily because I feel like I can flip it for more later, but because I want to pop in and play the game that I already alpha tested a little bit, or at least saw some of the alpha play. I want to play that game with this guy. And right now, I feel like you can buy him. I guess he's up to $29 now for lowest listing, but I scooped this listing for, you know, the floor that this NFT has ever been on. Doesn't mean the floor can't go lower, but yes, I think the very short answer is yeah. On Wax, if you're participating in these communities, there's no reason not to take what you know about the trajectory of a specific game or a specific asset and play a market using that information, because that's your edge. Like, you get an edge by participating in these communities. Like, if you are paying close attention and you know that like next week Taco is gonna unveil this new thing where like you can stake Taco tokens and earn, you know, whatever, like, you know, that Taco token demand might increase from that. So that would be your in to buy them today before everyone else who's not paying as close attention makes their move. So I definitely feel like it's a unique space in the sense that you can make asset like investment decisions based on, you know, your participation in these gaming communities, which is actually really cool. But a lot of that stuff is highly speculative. So I think that's a
Max. Do you want to maybe do last thoughts on this so we can land this plane here?
Yeah, let's see. The last thing I wanted to do was go over to Taco Swap and add these into the Taco pool. So let's do let's see, Taco Swap.
Yeah, it's like swap.tacocrypto.io.
That's the one. Swap.taco crypto. There it is.
We learned that tacoswap.io is a different thing on a different chain.
It sure is. So let's take a look really quick at if there's any of these assets that I'm off the top of my head familiar with that I'm actually interested in based on the LP rewards here. So first things I'm seeing here are the higher ones like BMP, BMR. I'm unfamiliar with that. I'm going to stay away from it. AWC, I don't know what that is. BMC, I'm not sure. Like, some of these, also a big part of why I would stay away from some of these is 25 days isn't a long time. So if this is valued because it has such a high APR and that APR goes away in 25 days, does that mean the value goes away as well? I don't know.
Yeah, well, and then you're going to have to be aggressive to front run it before everyone else potentially dumps in. If you're only looking at this once a week, you might miss the mark there.
Yeah, and then a lot of these other ones, you see things like this is 800%, but or I guess this is a better example, 424%. 50 of that is in Taco right now, but that ends in 6 days, and this goes for another 25. What portion of this percentage is coming from this Taco, and how much is that going to dump in 6 days when that ends? So that one I'm staying away from as well. Let's see, Light and Wax I'm unfamiliar with. Cat and Catnip, I don't know. Token, I actually know this currency. That's from Train of the Century, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't participate in that game. And again, you have the same thing going on here right now, where right now it's an attractive APR, but 7 days from now, I don't know how attractive this is when this stops. You know, 50 Taco per day is no joke. That's quite a bit of money. So looking further down a little bit, nothing is jumping out at me as tokens where I'm like in my personal wallets, I mine this one right here, CMW or CMX Nefty. And I think I also do Brawl and Wax.
Well, there's a Taco Wax one.
Yeah, there is a Taco Wax one. So I don't hate that. And 94% isn't bad. And let's see how does that compare to what I can get from just the regular Taco single stake pools. 94 is significantly more than, you know, even 60%. So let's do that one. Taco, I'm a big enough fan of to participate in, and then Wax, I'm okay with too. So let's do half of this would be 1.6 ish.
I see. So I guess it's designed that 50 Taco gets rewarded to the top 3 salsa tokens, allegedly.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So, okay, so if you get a liquidity pool with deep enough liquidity, you'll also start earning Taco. Is that the idea? Or like your pool will become incentivized with Taco rewards as well?
That's what it sounds like, yes. Which I guess would then move it over to the meal reward since you're getting multiple.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Taco also hit us up and wanted to move our liquidity over to Taco. I've been talking to Nico about
that
it
immediately. I have like 40,000 wax worth of liquidity.
Yeah, if they add Taco to it, then yeah, that's like a cool incentive.
Yeah, that's
what we were doing with the box.
If I moved my liquidity off of DeFi box to Taco Swap, it would be the deepest liquidity pool for USDT, and it would rival some of these big pools.
CMX has a decent USDT.
Yeah, they have a pretty
good liquidity. Yeah.
Mine's bigger.
So Taco Wax, can you see? I think it's actually incentivized with a bunch of stuff.
I also was talking to him. Taco, it has automatic market making in their swap, and they said they're using the same smart contracts as Alcor, and Alcor, which I didn't know, was audited by US blockchain producers. Those smart contracts.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Alcor is legit. It's open source, everything too. If you want an insight from that, a Yamster really knows his shit there.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, we're not like immediately going to commit to it because we're still kind of feeling it out. But I was like, I don't know, DeFi box hasn't really been doing much for the Wax community. They just rug pull you.
I agree.
Their tokens over and over. So we're also having Taco on the 15th of this month. So maybe we'll talk.
Oh hell yeah, that would be a perfect time.
Before making any rash
my
decisions.
liquidity live on stream. So here we go. I'm gonna add this to the pool. So the way I'm doing that is I'm just choosing whichever side actually I have coverage for. So since here it's showing me 5.9, I only have 5.1. I flipped this and now I'm paying out, and this way it works. So we're gonna add that to this pool. It's not a crazy amount of value, but I think it's a nice little way to diversify our exposure to some of these pools. And let's take a look at how that ends up.
Yeah, and exposes you to a decent bit of other tokens.
Yeah, here we go.
I think you get rewarded in Shing, Wax, and Taco. So you're basically, diversifying by virtue of the rewards you're getting as well.
Yeah, it looks like I'm not going to get Wax rewards because I have too little of a share of this pool. But we can grow this position over time. So now we're making some of these rewards. It's great. We have our exposure reduced from being exclusively exposed to CMW, Wax, and USDT. We've added now Taco to the mix. So we have 4 assets in our basket here now. And I think that kind of like puts us in a good spot. We have, we started with, let's take a look really quick. We started with 100 Wax. We're at 132 here, plus what amounts to about 3 Wax here. So we're at 100, I'd say 35 Wax now. So we're about 35% up after 2 months, and we're still going strong here, still earning in both of these positions. And as these opportunities continue to evolve, like Lewis is saying, Taco Swap is having opportunities, and we'll be on top of that stuff to continue to migrate and move and maximize our ability to earn some passive income on this blockchain from just participating in DeFi passively. But yeah, let's see some of the off the rail stuff that you have too. I'm interested to dive in. Oh yeah, also just one more time, I'm pretty stoked on my blockchain brawler collection now. Like, I was jealous Lewis Lewis still has a kick-ass collection more so than I do, but like I'm stoked to now have like, a few brawlers, and I can jump in and be like undead Naughty Scotty and flip people off, and one of only 27 when you verse me. Like that's the kind of shit I like from an NFT, like the digital Lambo thing. Like I'm pulling up to this game in my one of 27 limited, Naughty Scotty, go fuck yourself.
Here, I'm gonna do Stream Raiders real quick.
Yeah, my pool is bigger, biatch. I got 300 Wax or 300 USDT just on the USDT side alone.
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued to talk to Taco though. I think that'd be fun to talk to him more directly about the swap stuff. I still tried it, and I don't see it doing routing between tokens.
Yeah.
Don't have an
automatic market making is like not necessarily the same as market routing. Like it basically would be like, yeah, it's a little it's like behind the scenes, it'll like route between the pools, but not necessarily per trade during your trade. That is called trade routing. You usually need a separate smart contract handles the routing, which you will understand very clearly whenever you do transactions on Ethereum or any of the EVM style blockchains. Every time you interact with a swap contract, you first have to give permission to that contract to access whatever asset you're, like if you're doing USDT, you'd give the routing contract permission to access your USDT so that the swap can route your trade through the most effective path. So that router, I don't know if that's online yet, but that also doesn't mean that it can't be added in the future. But I would love to hear that from them. So that'll be a really interesting interview.
All right, Lewis, you said you had some stuff to show.
Do you want to do the grubfish really quick?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
The grubfish.
Here, we can give away
a grubfish pack for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this week we're going to see probably a little bit of like the market either like flatlining or maybe approaching the middle B-bands line. And I'm expecting it to continue to sell off. But I've been singing the bear song for months now. So, you know, I'm kind of still expecting to see making some lows, maybe a better opportunity for us to buy some more cryptos in the future. I'm absolutely still very interested in Wax at 8 or 9 cents. I'm really interested in buying more. And the more I'm looking at the Wax charts, the more I'm seeing like the OBV metrics, like money moving into the Wax markets, like a little bit silently, I would say, because money's moving into the markets while the price action isn't reflecting that. It does strike me as like, you know, maybe I'll start buying at 9 cents versus at 8 cents. Like
exclamation point play. If you like to do this giveaway, we're giving away a Crittercraft pack this time. So 1 card pack with the chance to pull any of the 4 rarities: dim, lit, glow, and neon.
If you're asking about the bear song, it goes like this. I think the markets are going down. That's the bear song. But yeah, it's not very rhythmic. But yeah, it's an interesting time, I think, in the crypto scene in general. You have a lot of like uncertainty still in like the general markets, and then not all of them, but like a lot of the centralized exchanges, like you have Voyager, you have Celsius, you have big like investment firms like 3 Arrow Capital. They're all just like doing bullshit and getting like bankrupted by their own like lack of ability to, I would say, risk manage appropriately. And it is costing non-tech savvy participants a lot of money.
Oh man, I should not. Holy shit, I try not to play that.
What was that? Yeah, like non-tech savvy people who are using these middlemen to like gain access to these assets, you know, like making an account at Celsius and buying Bitcoins there or whatever, because that's convenient. Those people are now getting wrecked, even though all they did was buy Bitcoin and hold it. And I'm seeing a lot of that in this space, like in the centralized side, and then in the decentralized side, we're seeing a lot of like hacks and vulnerabilities being exploited. You know, like the Horizon Bridge was hacked for 100 million. There's like since then like 3 more bridges have been hacked for at least $50 million each. You know, like
yeah, I think it's a lot of new players jumping into the space in a bull market, and a level of complacency with the level of security or the level of leverage, depending on if it's a bridge hack or some sort of centralized marketplace. I think there was just a lot of rushing into the space without checking all the boxes, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, just to get exposure, and then not really thinking, getting so comfortable in a bull market and then getting caught being too greedy.
And it's true, the space moves fast, but it doesn't move so fast that you should forego security and cyber safety. Like, it's better to spend an extra like hour researching something and then buying in at a worse price than it is to jump in right away and lose fucking everything.
Yeah. So even though like the prices are a lot higher than they've ever been, doesn't mean that the common theme that crypto as an asset is extremely volatile has fundamentally changed. And so you can see a lot of people or companies taking that for granted, I guess, whether they're new to the space or think they're immune to it. Even though we're making higher highs historically with, blue chips like Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's still a very volatile space. That rule has not changed.
Yeah. And
you can still be bullish on crypto as a technology while still acknowledging that fact.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I love NFTs. I'm never buying a Bored Ape. And the first thing when I heard that Irish owned a Bored Ape, the first thing I told him was, sell that shit, dude. If you can get $200,000 for it, sell it.
Like, and he got it for free.
Yeah, why would you not sell it? That's $250,000. Like,
dude, just take the sure thing.
Let's simulate this so we can get off the rails and then right into NFT Gamer TV.
Yeah,
let's do it. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to do that. Like if one of my DeFi Kingdom heroes was selling for more than like $5,000, that's it. I don't have any of those anymore. I now have $5,000. Like, there's no way I would ever hold an NFT I got for free for it to even get to that price. Like, I would have sold it way before. So I get why he didn't sell it. He was never going to. But
is it cheaper to bridge tokens versus transfer it twice? What do you mean transfer it twice? Like, to go into a centralized exchange and then transfer it out?
There's also, what token are you talking about? What network? Like, that's
I think depending on the bridge, some of them take a fee, or there's also gas fees, depending on what chains you're bridging on.
The only real answer is you just have to check both and see what the prices are and do it. It's a per transaction basis, and that can change depending on the gas fees, and the gas fees change depending on the network volume. Activity.
Yeah, if like, for example, when I moved USDT into Wax to do that Wax pool, I bridged that stuff from Ethereum. There's no way I was going to be able to source $300 worth of USDT on Wax. That liquidity doesn't fucking exist. I would have paid way more trying to buy the USDT on the Wax blockchain than just paying the gas to bridge it over. But if I was trying to buy $3 worth of USDT, it's a way better deal to not try to use the bridge. Yeah. So it's definitely a perch. Oh no, he's like bolted into the saw.
Yeah, that's true. It does depend on the amount of volume that you have as well. There's certain slippage concerns as well, and where you source it. So it's a lot of it depends, but it's in a decentralized marketplace that is a feature in the sense that you can compare the most advantageous spot price that you're looking for, and that is that is part of it. That's part of the strength of DeFi is like, okay, I'm going to choose where I get my tokens because
I think that's something that people need to be aware of in general as far as DeFi is concerned. There isn't like one platform, one protocol that's better than another. It's always depending on the current market conditions. Like, I love Curve, I love Uniswap, I love Sushi. Like, I'll use Sushi Swap, but like, if 1inch has a better deal at the moment, I'm fucking making my trade on 1inch, even if I don't like their like product or like let's not use those words because those might be unfamiliar to our audience. But like, I like Alcor and I like Taco Swap and DeFi. Like, if I don't like DeFi Box, that doesn't mean I'm not using them if it's the best deal. So decentralized finance is just that. It's decentralized. You should never have like brand loyalty or like, using a product because you've used it before, just because you're comfortable. Like, the reality is you can get a better deal by shopping around, and shopping around is the name of the game. Like, it's, decentralized. That's the idea. Like, I might make a trade from like Neon into CMX token, right? But the way that trade would happen is I would trade Neon for Wax or USDT on DeFi Box, then take the USDT or Wax over to Taco Swap and buy the CMX token, rather than try to do Neon straight into CMX on DeFi Box, because the liquidity depth of CMX on DeFi Box would make the price worse than if I do this extra step of moving to Taco Swap for the second half of the trade. Yeah. So it's the same deal for like bridges or swapping and all that stuff.
All right, Lou.
All right, basically what I wanted to show is I added a trailer for both YouTube and Twitch. When somebody's unsubscribed to your channel, there can be a trailer. We've literally had nothing playing, so it's just whatever fucking random 3-hour interview we have.
Oh.
But now
let's see.
A trailer.
I'm excited for this.
Oh wow, look at that! Look at that crazy main you got going there, Lou.
I'm not sharing audio here, right? No, so it will not double
I don't hear
play
audio at the moment.
Damn, it's a crazy wild man head of hair.
Oh man, I should not have put that much in my mouth.
Starting out strong.
Oh my god, I'm sucking so hard. As someone who's 5'8", shout out to my short kings out there. You know, respect. You're leaders too, and you deserve respect.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
If you got that kitty milk, I think it's fucking painful if they don't pump it. Like they got to pump it when it comes in.
Dude, what the fuck? Cock's not on there? I want to raise my damn chicken.
What's the difference between like prune juice or plum juice?
I don't know, but I don't think I like either.
Do you have an alternative count called Baja Blast Me?
I'm here.
Yeah. I get clipped way
jokes and Max got it. Too many chats in our chat.
But if you don't like the tip, like a really limp tip.
I'm the jewel, come and take a tour. I'm the flavor of the week, make the knees feel weak.
I think the pea's fake. The pea's fake.
I like the way asparagus makes your pea smell, personally. I like a pungent piss.
Shit, dude, am I gonna lose?
You're getting crushed by an 11-year-old, Max.
Yeah, we got so much content here.
Fucking hamster too. Oh, this is such a fucking troll.
Hamster, you gotta fall, otherwise I'm finished.
And he did fall. Oh, and I still
Getting in the end, you're screwed anyway.
Lance, you fucking dick.
Well, thank you to all the people subscribing to us. I need more coffee. Thanks to all the people subscribing to us. That's very kind of you.
All you motherfuckers watching right now.
Fuck yeah, give me those.
That's some
sauce,
real hot
baby.
energy there. All right, so that's our new channel.
That's good. That's really good.
We've got a charter version of this.
Not much NFT talk, but just off the rails all across the board, which I love.
Yeah.
People don't really clip us talking about NFTs, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Come
That's
for
true.
the silly stuff. Stay for the technical analysis.
Anyway, we're gonna
Yeah,
raid
that's
into NFT Gamer TV.
Oh.
Doing Taco Tuesday, I believe. And let's buy the dip.
Yeah. Monostoid Head love to talk about bridges some more. We'll talk about that next week because bridges are.
I also want you to
bad.
go over to Ethereum
Wow.
merge. We're getting so close to that. Like,
Yeah, it's coming up. Like
Yeah, we were going to
really-
talk about that. I think we got a little too long-winded, but we can do that
Yeah.
next week.
I don't even understand how it's working entirely. Like I thought the entire chain was going proof of stake, which is not how it works. So like I don't even really understand how it works. So I would like to learn more about that. And
Yeah,
since it's
yeah,
coming
yeah,
in the
let's
next couple
dive into
weeks, I think that's a good topic.
Okay, yeah, I'll prepare some shit too, so I can like have some visual aids and shit. So like, because it is complicated and it can be understood. So we'll figure it out together.
Let me share my screen.
Proof of nutsack.
I was also going to say that somebody reached out to me and asked me to run for Alien Worlds Council, so I'm considering doing that. I was like, I don't have the
Oh.
stake. Like, I don't have enough TLM to even run. You need 5K, and they're like, oh no, we can cover you for that. So I'm
Damn.
considering it.
So are we going to make
Damn.
like a Lewis super pack here that people can
We'll do Lewis for Neuron.
Yeah,
I was-
Nathan for Neuron.
I was just looking
there-
through the top 100 list, and like, Good Vibes is on there. Long Hair is on there.
Huh?
One of the Atomic Kings, like the QJQ or whatever that wallet is like one of the top holders. I was like, I actually
feel like
know
you're
like
not-
a significant amount of whales on this.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say I don't
probably-
think you're out of place on that list.
And I think I could probably. Oh, that's Reed. I could probably convince Reed to vote for me a little bit.
Wait,
That's why I
so
was
did
like-
Nathan get added? Like, was he actually on the council? I just
The
remember
vote
him
hasn't
not-
happened yet. It's coming up though.
Oh, okay.
But David Harris reached out to me because he's like, we're trying to get more like community oriented people on. Like, we don't want people who are just like bot farmers and whales to win. We want people that actually like are part of the wax community and will push good updates and vote for stuff that's good for the community and not just like
Yeah,
line
Someone
their
can
own
run
pockets.
attack ads towards you saying this guy got banned for multi-accounting. You want
Yeah,
this
that's
like
man
Nathan.
to be your
Nathan.
That's my
representative?
big smoking gun. Is I was once banned for multi-accounting, but I'm unbanned. I've been clean for months, y'all. I've been
Okay.
mining.
That's gonna
mining
come up in your
perspective.
campaign trail, though, dude. Someone's gonna
Yeah,
make
no,
a.
you gotta
It's
cover
like
your ass.
Lewis. Banned?
They're just gonna put clips of you. This man likes titty milk and gets banned.
Anyway, before we get too off the rails, I'm gonna play Buying the Dip and Rated NFT Gamer TV. Thanks so much for watching. Tomorrow is Wax Wednesday. We'll probably go over some blockchain brawler updates, and then also Sammy Snake has a sale on Thursday, so we'll probably cover the Nova Rally sale, which I'm excited for. I'm gonna try.
Oh yeah,
for the OG cosmetics. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, I was thinking Neri, Burst of Energy, because Neri's like the Crypto Monkey home planet. That's where I started. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel an allegiance to that, but
yeah, we have a good relationship with Crypto Monkeys. You know, lift each other up there.
I just reach out to them in their private channel. I'm like, if I run for Neri, am I gonna get absolutely fucking bodied by like your guys' huge stake, or will like you guys support me? Because I'm not gonna run on Neri if the Crypto Monkeys are against me, because I don't know. They've accumulated a shit ton of TLM from all of their. How all of their NFTs were distributed is by mining on their lands, and they just keep all that. So they have a shit ton of TLM.
That wallet has 500 like million TLM or some shit. It's like massive.
So you don't need to be a landowner to run.
No, you need just 5K TLM staked to you. Anyway, I'm also
dope.
We're gonna be doing the tourist station party tomorrow. It's gonna be fucking sick. Club Chaos Rave. All you need is one tourist station asset, so potentially try to pick one up for tomorrow. You can get one for a couple wax. They're pretty cheap. Yeah. I have some extras too. Maybe hit me up in Discord if you're really tight on wax.
We'll probably give some out tomorrow too. So
if for sure, just the rave's going to be at the very beginning of the stream, so like the logistics of sending them that while we're streaming in the rave is probably not going to work.
I got myself a glow stick. I'm ready.
We will see y'all tomorrow. Or if you want to hang out in Discord, I haven't done my daily gaming yet. Oh shit, Blanco's that's tomorrow. Blanco's updates tomorrow, and the low mints will be going out for the end of season unlock. So I might have to wake up early to fucking get sweaty for that.
Ooh, it's always fun to wake up early for a drop.
It's like not a drop as much as like you grind out the end of season shit, and if you grind there first, then you get. So it's like kind of a drop, but kind of like
it's like a sprint, like a mint sprint.
Yeah, it's a mint sprint for unlocking, but if I do it after our stream, I'm gonna get like a shitty mint because people have been playing for like 4 or 5 hours. Anyway, before I get too off the rails,
man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you, Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
First of all this whining by Wall Street is making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short. Short. You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of its stock, crush these companies into the dirt, thousands of stocks into the dirt. Then when the individuals make money, everyone's entrepreneurs. I have a kid who bought a house, paid $50,000 and bought a house. After decades of this short, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing, and now you're losing.
Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening? Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
There's a lot of power in organizations online. Too many people can get together in a subreddit, think it's really funny that the GameStop stock is going up and just affect the market in that way. There's 20,000 people live in a Discord